Continue the action on track after the Virgin Australia Supercars second practice session. Qualifying coming up later today, but it's time to go racing on this Adelaide Parkland circuit with the first race of the first round in Porsche Wilson Security Carrera Cup Australia. We're qualifying early this morning. It was scintillating stuff. Richard Craill with Jackson Evans breaking through for his first Carrera Cup pole, and he'll have Dale Wood alongside him out of supercars and on the front row.
A whole bunch of personal bests in qualifying this morning, Chad, and it just sets the scene for what everyone in the paddock is looking forward to as a mouth-watering Porsche Carrera Cup Australia Championship, brought to you by Wilson Security this year. 26 brand new Generation 2 991 GT3 Cup cars. They've got 485 horsepower. We saw record times in qualifying early this morning. We expect the race lap record to go at some point this weekend. It's currently held by Shay Davies at 122.29. This should be a properly good motor race too.
Ready to go then with Carrera Cup, their first race of the season. Wilson Security coming on as the new sponsor. Brand new cars, 13 pros, 13 Tag Heuer Pro-Ams. The field has literally doubled year on year from last season. It's going to be an exciting one. If qualifying was anything to go by, to be Jackson Evans and Dale Wood on the front row. Watch out for former supercar drivers like reigning champ Dave Wall and also James Moffat. He'll return to the series for the first time in the decade outside row number 3. Anthony Gilbertson, he is our Tag Heuer Pro-Am pole sitter. Former athletes like John Stephenson in the field. It's a great mix of youngsters like Adam Garwood. Also the reigning champ in class, Stephen Grove. Josh Hunt returns to Aussie Motorsport with a brand new team. Lehan Tander's out there as well alongside Sam Sheehan in this massive field of 26 cars.
So 5 drivers in the top 10 recorded their best ever Porsche Carrera Cup Australia qualifying performance. 10 out of the 26 their best ever. 6 drivers are about to make their first ever Porsche Wilson Security Carrera Cup Australia race start. 7 different teams, Chad, represented in the top 10 in qualifying, including 4 in the top 4 positions, all of the big teams in the Carrera Cup Australia Championship. It's enormously competitive, but there's a lot of unknowns going in to the next 15 laps as we kick off a brand new season.
Sophomore driver Jackson Evans tightens the belts. We'll be riding on board with him this weekend. Also John Stephenson, Olympic and Commonwealth medalist. It's a different type of racing for him today as he gets set for his first Carrera Cup race, but has experience in GT3 Cup Challenge, the feeder category to this one. Now, brand new car, 4-litre engine, 485 horsepower. What an exciting package. So, for the first race of the year, let's just enjoy this sound when the green flag waves. Crank it right up. Chaos across the centre chicane, but a clean start for the first of the 3 races this weekend, and it's Dale Wood who will lead us down towards turn 4 across the bumps.
Heaps of wheel spin for Wood, but it hooked up when he got second gear and just committed into turn 1 and led them through. So Evans next, some moving going on down through the field, but everyone through that critical run. The end of Wakefield Street over the bumps nicely. Good start, Dylan O'Keefe. He's in front of the reigning champion, David Wall, and up to 3rd. James Moffat, his first start in 10 years in Carrera Cup racing, gets away nicely, runs P5.
Not sure what's more impressive, the sight or the sound of 26 Cup cars hurling themselves towards turn 8. The Shannon's Insurance speed cam shot as they whiz by at over 200 kilometres per hour. Great passing opportunity down at turn 9, and a few will go for it. That's a tough one to stop from that far back. And Nick McBride, 4th in last year's championship, gets speared around by a driver from another class, and it's caught Cameron Hill out in his first Carrera Cup race. He'll find reverse and try and get out of there.
Yeah, too far back from Anthony Gilbertson. Perhaps just relying on the ABS that the Tag Heuer Pro-Am drivers can use a little bit too much. The opening lap on cold tyres came from too far back. The poor old Nick McBride had absolutely nothing to do with that and got carted off into the tyre fence there at turn 9. So, his first Porsche Carrera Cup Australia race, Dale Wood for Sonic Motor Racing. And that rivalry we've talked up for the last couple of years between McElrea and Sonic, it's on again. Because Jackson Evans is 2nd, Dylan O'Keefe 3rd, Wall 4th, Moffat, Love, Largo next. His
That was Tim Miles having his own moment going across the curbs there at the centre chicane. Did a good job to gather that one back up. Now Wood under pressure from Evans. So these Michelin tyres find the sweet spot with pressures and temps rising.
Spoke to Jackson's dad, John, after qualifying, and he was just as pleased as his boy for the effort in qualifying and said it was the box he needed to tick. Qualified second twice last year. He won races, he won rounds. That one-lap qualifying pace was all they were just missing, the last 0.5%. Said absolutely nailed it today. They were really, really pleased with his performance and the way he dealt with traffic, the way he dealt with bringing the tyres up and looking after them over the course of the session.
Interestingly, I don't think Nick McBride ever returned to the racetrack. He is stranded and out, and given the added competitiveness for this season, you can ill afford DNFs if you want to be the champion. Oh, there's more going on. Greg Taylor involved this time. Also, I wonder if Shaheen was a part of this, I think, as well.
Saw the Ben Motorsport Park entry just going slowly on the run down into Victoria Park. So hopefully Greg Taylor, a former Australian GT Trophy Series champion driving Audis, hopefully he can get going again. Good run for Evans. Tucked up under the rear wing of Dale Wood's car. Key overtaking opportunity up here. The run uphill, the top of Wakefield Street to turn 4. Meanwhile, the battle for third, Dylan O'Keefe just bundling up the reigning champion. But his new teammate, Royal Racing, remember, has expanded from 1 car to 3 this year. Greg Taylor, who we saw pointing in the wrong direction moments ago, one of that team. And their gun signing in James Moffat, who had a baptism of fire yesterday on his return to Carrera Cup. The wild moment down at turn 1, managed to get out of that with a straight race car. Just behind him, really impressive young guy from Perth in Jordan Love. His younger brother will be doing some open wheel racing as well and is highly rated. Those racing, motor racing families with talent flows right through. And exciting to watch these young guys progress against some of the experience that's in this field.
So incredibly, the only driver who knows what it's like to win a round in Carrera Cup in the field, Nick McBride, DNF, speared off the racetrack, opening lap, turn 9. And they all say qualifying so important for that very reason, get you out of that mid-pack scramble. Great example.
It sets his entire round back now because he starts race 2 from 26th. And in the field so competitive, we had 2.5 seconds covering about 20 cars.
What a shame.
It's going to be really difficult for him to work his way through. Just wanted to point out Cameron Hill, who qualified in the top 10, successful driver in Toyota 86s and a Formula Ford champion. He's running 19th. So his first Porsche Carrera Cup Australia start has not gone to plan, and he's barreled down to the bottom of the top 20.
Back on board with Jackson Evans, and this battle for the lead commences. 12 laps left to run in the streets of Adelaide, and Dale Wood leading the way. Can he follow in the footsteps of the man whose footsteps he's been following? Matt Campbell, he won the race here in 2016 to open the weekend, went on to win that championship, and he's very much been modelled off the Matt Campbell pathway at McElroy Racing replays at the start.
So here's the start. So Dale Wood, you could see moving across the road. That was the wheel spin he got in car number 100, but Evans' start just wasn't quite as good. And in the drag race down into the centre chicane, it was the green Sonic Porsche that got through.
So he was into it.
Yeah, Josh Hunt making his Carrera Cup debut got a little late. This on board from Michael Armand. Switched teams in the off-season across to Sonic Motor Racing. How busy is this? Roger Largo in front. So this is the bottom half of the top 10. And that's all you can do on the opening lap. Just abort, bounce over the curb and gather it up on the exit.
So watch further up the screen, the dark blue Porsche. Sinking feeling as it hones in on the right rear of Nick McBride's Porsche Centre Melbourne car. Cameron Hill nowhere to go as well. Did a really good job keeping his nose clean.
Well, that's why Cameron Hill bundled down the order. I mentioned that just before. It wasn't his start. He got a very good start. Unfortunately got caught up in an incident that wasn't of his doing. So the Hallmark Homes driver, he was covering from Roger Largo, who was having a run. So I wonder if that just unsettled him a little bit. Missed his braking marker and went too deep. He'll definitely get penalised for that, though. Anthony Gilbertson, race control, won't look too kindly on that. Stephen Johnson, the driver standards advisor, and James Taylor, the race director. Just got word through, actually, speaking of Cam's race control, that they're going to run turn 9 under yellow flags now because of that car of Nick McBride. So that's a key overtaking opportunity, as we're seeing here. The Sam hit up the inside of Greg Taylor, so that explains that incident. Saw the Aris Property Group Porsche pointing in the wrong direction.
and those incidents will be investigated at the conclusion of the race. So there will be waved yellows down in this part of the track for the next few laps, and I wonder if that incident there happened under yellows as well. The officials don't take too kindly to accidents happening in yellow sectors. Double duties for the Hallmark driver this weekend. Mark Sini be on track in his Audi as well as the Porsche this week.
He's a busy boy. The most capped driver, to use a cricket terminology, in Porsche Carrera Cup Australia competition. 200 races to his credit in this category. Vastly experienced, a big supporter of it. Run out of the Porsche Centre Melbourne quasi factory team. New teammate Nick McBride this year. They're also running John Stephenson's car. Johnny Steff was a gog about that team, just talking about how cool the people in it are and how much help he was getting. On the opposite end of the Carrera Cup experience car, that was Leanne Tander running in behind the Porsche Centre Melbourne outfit entry. So 20th place for Leanne, her first ever Carrera Cup start. Pretty tough baptism of fire to jump into one of those cars with a short day of testing she had at Sandown Raceway before the weekend.
Tag Heuer Pro-Am leader at the moment is Roger Largo. That would be an emphatic return to this category. Hasn't driven solo since Townsville 2015. He had a nasty qualifying crash, so good to see him back behind the wheel here on the streets of Adelaide. Very capable in both the Lamborghini that he drives in GTs and now back in the Porsches. And he is under fire here at the moment, but Peter Major is in the pro class, so the next driver back will be Stephen Grove that he needs to worry about. 2 cars back.
You can tell the differences between the classes with the colour of numbers. That's perfectly illustrated there. Roger Largo with a yellow number in the Tag Heuer Pro-Am driver. That class this year is going to be one to watch. There is so much tasty content in there. Stephen Grove running second, he's the champion. Tim Miles running third in class at the moment. He's going along very nicely. It's made up plenty of ground as this race has gone on.
The opening race of the weekend and of the season for Porsche Wilson Security Carrera Cup Australia. Settling into a nice rhythm with Dale Wood leading the way. Jackson Evans, P2, Dylan O'Keefe. What a great job in third. So we check back in with the leaders. And there has been no movement at the station between these two. There's been a couple of feet in it since the start of the race.
It's quintessential Carrera Cup racing, isn't it, Chad? Just that intense pressure, both for the driver leading and the one chasing. Leading is Dale Wood. Chasing Jackson Evans, one of the bright young stars of this category. Dale Wood making the move across from full-time supercars racing. We've seen that before, haven't we? Drivers come back into this category. Andre Heimgartner, the most recent example of that. Came back, jump into a competitive car, rediscover that ability to win races, run at the front of the field. And Andre's back in supercars full-time. Maybe Dale Wood might be looking to take that path.
It's been a good 5 years since Dale Wood's won a motor race. You have to go back to Super 2 when he was the champion back in 2013. So getting that, exactly like you said, that winning feeling back, getting that confidence back to lead a race. He's doing that so brilliantly right now under heavy fire from Jackson Evans.
He's not completely without Carrera Cup experience in a couple of the Pro-Am 2 driver events. So 4 race starts to his credit. But single driver stuff, this is brave new territory. One of the likeable guys in the paddock, always good for a chat. Always tells you what he's thinking. He's joined up with a 5-car Sonic Motor Racing team this year. And that team looking to win 3 straight rounds here in Adelaide. Won the last 2 rounds in the Bob Jane T-Mart's liveried cars. But car 100 very much run out of the same stable. They brought on a new engineer in Marcus Koch, who's vastly experienced running Formula 3.5 in Europe and GP2 cars in the past. They brought him on board to look after that car.
Could have swore I saw something come off. There's some kind of debris on the circuit on the inside of the curb at turn 13. Just something caught my eye. Sorry, Richard, to stand on you like that, but it was unusual, and Dale Wood ran over it.
Well, it's a high commitment bit of road, so you don't want debris getting in the way of his race cars there.
Hopefully it hasn't affected the car or tyre, more importantly, for Dale Wood. Oh man, this is good.
How are the bumps up there at turn 4? And I canvassed the drivers this morning about that, and they said, yeah, since last year, more noticeable. And some of them weren't sure if it was just the way the new car behaves differently over the bumps, but a lot of the underpinnings are very similar to the outgoing car. They thought those bumps are much more savage. But it's the Porsche bounce, isn't it? They were famous for it at Le Mans back in the day. The front end of the Porsche always just seems to bounce around with the weight distribution hanging out over the rear axle in these cars.
Quick dab of the brakes through turn 8. 3/10 of a second in it, nothing really. Jackson just giving him a bit of breathing space actually to make sure he doesn't lose any front grip through turn 8. Not a nice place to understeer, I imagine. Now, the funny thing about this battle is it's actually the drivers 5th, 6th, 7th that are the quickest on the track. So if this stays green across the next few laps, we could all be stacking up behind Dale Wood at the conclusion of this one, and that would be very exciting.
Hang on, that'll get properly exciting. Behind this leading group, there's some good numbers being punched out by some pretty talented race car drivers. James Moffat lighting up the timing monitor. Michael Armand has the fastest lap of the race. He's in car 77, which is a Bob Jane T-Mart Sonic Motor Racing Porsche. He's only 2/10 off the lap record. And these are the two team cars running nose to tail. Jordan Love in front in 777, famous number in Carrera Cup racing. Championship winning number with Nick Foster a couple of years ago. A remarkable championship campaign where he scored exactly 0 points from the first 5 races and charged his way home to win the championship. Remarkable season.
Oh, love the back end of that car getting it a little bit squirrely. This will go time certain, so last lap, get it done right now. If Jackson Evans wants the race win, he needs to make it count. And one of those passing opportunities could be on the horizon in the next few seconds. He'll be too far back. He's also got a piece of moulding in the roof of this car starting to pop up as well. You just see it sticking up there. Should be slowing him down too much, but Dale Wood is a couple of stops away from picking up his first Carrera Cup win. It's not over yet though. Evans with maybe a sniff at the last corner.
And still 4 different teams in the top 4 positions. So full credit to everyone for engineering these brand new cars. Evans the last roll of the dice. Wood felt the need to go defensive, but it doesn't matter. It's not enough. He's going to win on his debut with Sonic Motor Racing. Well done, Dale Wood.
Wow, Dale Wood. Welcome back to Winner's Circle. That is an excellent debut solo drive in this championship. Sonic celebrating 20 years of racing. And how about that from the front row to beat Jackson Evans? Meanwhile, Roger Largo takes class honours in the JBS 991 Porsche. Congratulations, Stephen Grove will be second there and Tim Miles third for our Tag Heuer Pro-Am class. Time certain, wiping a few laps off the board, but take nothing away from Dale Wood's drive under heavy pressure.
From this guy, Jackson Evans, who finishes second from pole position. So a little bit of work to do. They'll assess the start, improve for tomorrow. Wood the winner though for Sonic. McElroy second with Jackson Evans. Seawood Motorsport third for Dylan O'Keefe. And David Wall, the champion, kicks off his title defence in 4th.
Great effort also John Stephenson. First Carrera Cup race, finishing P15 and beating home some pretty successful drivers. Cam Hill unfortunate on that opening lap to get caught up with what happened at turn 9. He can bounce back from there. Hopefully Nick McBride can get that car fixed up and come charging through the field. It will be a very entertaining drive later this weekend for their second race.